All good research starts with asking good questions. And at the beginning of this project, we had a lot. While developing our research structure, it became clear that we had to define specific questions that would help answer what kind of prototype we would create. This process began with dividing the research team into subgroups that would focus on major elements involved in the design of a digital Junior Ranger prototype to help us get a sense of the project from multiple angles. The Digital Humanities subgroup focused on the digital realm of education, experience, and connection to place and people. The Education and Curriculum group looked at broader educational techniques and principles in both traditional and digital mediums. The Education and Diversity subgroup focused on exploring how to reach diverse audiences through a singular platform, in addition to including a wide range of voices, perspectives, and needs in the research process. The History subcommittee focused on the historical facts and context of the historic trails. DJR fellows chose their groups based on personal skills and interests. After performing general research of our prospective subgroup themes, we generated a list of questions that we personally had. Then we narrowed down our main research questions by looking at where our personal questions overlapped and which were most relevant to our needs. Here is a list of the main research questions we generated through this brainstorming process. These questions all try to account for the many aspects of a fun and educational digital Junior Ranger program, such as connection, engagement, motivation, recall, dark topics, and accessibility. Adding an educational component to a fun and enticing platform of activities created a lot of complexity around how kids might be engaged and encouraged to continue using the product, while also being asked to learn something. Many of our questions asked not only how to get kids to use the product, but also what they should take away from it and how best to communicate why those takeaways matter. Though a digital Junior Ranger program intends to teach historical facts, cultural heritage and personal connection to historical people and places are important to consider for youth to effectively recall historical facts. In view of accessibility issues, we also considered how to reach audiences who may have limited use of digital platforms and how that may constrain our options, but also help us make decisions. As you know, the MPS uses themes to structure interpretive information and encourage audiences to care about and remember the topic. In the same vein, using themes help to structure our research questions and prototype designs. Themes are overarching ideas to connect people to other people, places, and past, so part of the challenge is communicating themes to audiences in an effective way. Digital platforms have a plethora of communication modes that can be leveraged to make themes visible, with music, graphics, characters, interactive gameplay, and more. Because it's important to understand education holistically, we continue to explore digital and non-digital communication and education modes to understand what makes users learn and continue to learn through engagement, motivation, and retention. We had to choose what themes to work with to ensure that our prototype designs could be applicable to all the National Historic Trails in the Rocky Mountain region. Again, we generated a list of many themes we encountered over the course of our research. Then we parceled down the list of themes that were broad, seemed interesting to our target demographic based on past testing experiences, and had potential to connect with a variety of activities. With our research questions and themes decided, we were able to brainstorm ideas about prototypes, specifically regarding how digital elements, story elements, or game mechanics can communicate themes. An example of a digital activity that communicated a theme effectively was a game at the Oregon Historical Society Museum about George Fletcher, a black cowboy from Oregon, wherein you play as George Fletcher competing in a rodeo, and no matter how well you do in-game, you cannot win, mirroring the real-life event when George Fletcher was denied the championship because of his race. This example, and others like it, was inspiration for our own prototype designs.